Rise, Meg.
What is thy bidding, my master?
Hello my dear friends, how are you all doing today? I'm Star Wars Meg, back with another Mandalorian video. So yesterday I gave you guys a poll asking if today was too soon to do spoilers, and the majority of you said no. It's now been 48 hours since the release of Chapter 16, and in today's video we're going to be talking about R2-D2 and Grogu. I will say that whenever I'm able to make a video about R2-D2, I get really giddy. Droids have always been my favourite aspect of the Star Wars universe, and if you ask anyone I know in real life, they'll tell you that I talk about droids for hours. It's also partially due to the fact that I grew up during the prequel era, where LucasArts were pumping out action figures of every astromech and every protocol droid from episodes 1 to 3. Not to mention the battle droids, droidicas, you name it. Anyways, you get the picture. I love droids, but none more than I love R2-D2. So imagine my excitement that within the same week that Lucasfilm announced an upcoming Star Wars show called A Droid Story, we also got the blue astromech droid in the final episode of Season 2 of The Mandalorian. When Luke Skywalker showed up on the Imperial light cruiser, helmetless Mando and Grogu shared the most heartwarming moments before parting ways. R2-D2 entered the scene, and once Grogu let go of Mando's leg, the 50-year-old Yoda species waddled over to R2. Instantly, R2-D2 shook with happiness, and this signaled to us the audience that perhaps they've met before. Why else would R2-D2 be so ecstatic to see Grogu? While a few of you have suggested that since R2-D2 knew Yoda well, he recognized the species the moment he saw Grogu, and thus he thought of the Jedi Master. But I disagree with this. I genuinely believe R2-D2 has not only met Grogu before, but the two have shared an adventure or three in the past. Now, I have some theories of how they know each other, and I'll get to those in a moment. The first clue that R2 genuinely recognizes the child is the way he shows his excitement. It's an understatement to say that R2 is quite the emotional droid. Compared to his astromech counterparts like R4-P17, he enjoys companionship, and on the other end of the spectrum, when he's bummed out, he'll let you know it. Just look how he reacted to Luke's disappearance in The Force Awakens. In the Season 2 finale of Mando, he shakes from side to side with glee. The only times we have seen R2-D2 shake from side to side out of pure joy in the past is after a major victory or a monumental moment. The victory at the Battle of Endor, the celebration on Naboo at the end of The Phantom Menace, and as is the case here when reuniting with an old friend. R2 reacted to Grogu in the exact same way that he did in The Force Awakens when reuniting with C-3PO for the first time since he shut down and went into low power mode. So in essence, R2 just had to have met Grogu before. Herein lies the premise to my two theories. The first is that since Anakin was the same age as Grogu and hence were both at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant around the same age, then inevitably R2 would have at least seen Grogu a couple of times, even just passing by, the same way he would have seen Kit Fisto, Mace Windu, Aayla Secura, or anyone else. This theory is the most likely, so if you wanted a straightforward hypothesis, here you go. But let's be real, it's too probable, logical, and not remotely far-fetched enough, so let's go a step further and put our die-hard Star Wars fans' hats on. Here's a question. What if R2-D2 is the one who salvaged Grogu during the events of Order 66? Now here's the issue, the logistics don't add up as well as I had hoped, and unless we get clarification in Season 3 of Mando, the theory might be too weak. Let me break it down for you nonetheless. While the Order 66 scenes in Revenge of the Sith never explicitly show R2, we know of his whereabouts in that time. He's with Anakin when the pair go to Mustafar in the Green Starfighter, or Actis class interceptor to be more precise. Someone on Reddit theorized that R2-D2 rescued Grogu from the Jedi Temple, then somehow managed to store him in a compartment of his droid self. But there are a few issues with this. Not only is it way too far-fetched beyond reason and quite comical, Anakin, or rather newly anointed Darth Vader, would have easily sensed Grogu's presence, unless Anakin told R2 to save Grogu and wanted the child alive. After all, Grogu and Anakin were born around the same time and have very high M counts. This could suggest that similar to Rey and Kylo, they are a dyad in the Force, and Anakin wanted to keep Grogu to test his abilities and even try to convert him to the dark side. If we keep going down this little theory rabbit hole, Anakin has another reason why he might want to save Grogu: Yaddle. In a vital mission prior to the Clone Wars, Jedi Master Yaddle sacrificed her own life to save Anakin and Obi-Wan. If Yaddle is Grogu's mother, Anakin might have felt a sense of responsibility to do right by Yaddle's legacy and save her child as a way of returning the favour. And where better to store a bundle of green Yoda-shaped pudginess than in a blue astromech droid? What bothers me when watching Revenge of the Sith, knowing about Grogu and the fact that he was present during Order 66, is the apparent lack of care that Yoda shows to what could potentially be his son. Then again, if they're of the same species and unrelated, then problem solved and Bob's your uncle. But back to R2-D2. As I stated earlier, it's most likely that he knows about Grogu simply from having bumped into him a few times. While the Order 66 theories seem awesome in principle, they lack substance based on what we know about the Jedi Purge and where R2 was at the time. But one more interesting thing that we need to talk about is the upcoming Lucasfilm show, A Droid Story, that was announced last week. The synopsis is quite telling, and it reads as follows. As Lucasfilm continues to develop new stories, the intersection of animation and visual effects offers new opportunities to explore. Lucasfilm Animation will be teaming up with Lucasfilm's visual effects team, Industrial Light and Magic, to develop a special Star Wars adventure for Disney+, A Droid Story. This epic journey will introduce us to a new hero, guided by legendary duo R2-D2 and C-3PO. Could the new hero be Grogu? They could show how Grogu was saved by R2 during Order 66, although I admit this might be a bit of a stretch. Whether or not there's a further link to Anakin Skywalker having been of the same age as Grogu is yet to be seen, and perhaps we'll get more of an elaboration in Season 3 of Mando or in one of the spin-off shows that are coming up. But now, my friends, I turn it over to you. Do you think R2-D2 recognizes Grogu because he's a similar species to Yoda, or do you think he genuinely knew him and they shared an adventure or two? Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and if you liked this video, please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell to be alerted each and every time I post new content to my channel. I post daily. And also, if you're feeling generous, please make sure to head over to my Patreon page. For either $2 or $10 a month, you can get exclusive access to content that is not found here on this platform. I'm Star Wars Meg, wishing you a phenomenal rest of the day, no matter where you dwell in the galaxy. Have a good one.